Hey guys, Aaron Cybertron Zhang here, and today I'm back with another episode of Road to Ranked where I climb the online Series 13 ladder and provide live commentary as I go. Today we're trying out a team that features Focus Sash MEWTWO as well as Choice Specs VOLCANION. This team was built by a player called Kotaro from Japan. The last team I actually used on Road to Rank, which I'll link down in the description below for the episodes if you want to check him out, was also built by Kotaro. He's just one of my favorite team builders from Japan and was one of the few players to try out Giratina Origin form throughout the last year and actually brought it to the World Championships, which is awesome. So, as always, I'll do a quick breakdown of the team, but if you want to just skip to the battles, check out the timestamps in the description below. Thanks so much as always for watching. If you enjoy, please show your support by leaving a like. I'd really appreciate it. And question of the day, I want to know how you could buff VOLCANION if you had the ability to do so. So, let me know. And let's talk about this team. So the first Pokemon I want to talk about here is MEWTWO. MEWTWO historically has not been very good in VGC despite it having really solid base speed and base special attack, and it also is just not very strong in this current format either. And that's for a couple of reasons, right? First of all, by being Psychic type, you're just weak to a lot of common types, especially Dark and Ghost in this format, and MEWTWO, feels like it can be a solid Dynamax option, but it's just so vulnerable into so many Pokemon, right? Like Zacian Behemoth Blade, for example, just does so much damage into it. So this is kind of a more support-oriented MEWTWO where you've got Icy Wind, Will-O-Wisp, Mist, and Psystrike. The idea is that you can use Icy Wind for speed control. MEWTWO's in that, kind of sweet base speed range where there aren't that many Pokemon that outspeeded outside of things like Calyrex, Zacian, Regieleki, right? And so the idea is with MEWTWO, you can outspeed a lot of Pokemon, get an immediate speed drop, and then with the Icy Wind speed drop, it allows things like Dialga or Zacian or Yveltal, for example, to outspeed your opponent. And so, yeah, Psystrike is just your strongest means of offense. Will-O-Wisp is really nice into things like Groudon and Zacian in this format. And then Mist is just kind of a cool way to prevent your party from eating up stat drops, and so that can be valuable for not getting, your attack drop with Groudon and Zacian, for example, or your special attack drop with Dialga. So I think Mist is probably the most replaceable move here, having tried out the team. Like Trick Room, I think, could actually be really valuable in this slot, but the idea is that, yeah, MEWTWO provides really unique support with Icy Wind, and Focus Sash is just so crucial in a set like this where, yeah, otherwise you're just going to get one-shot by things like Calyrex and Yveltal. The next Pokemon I want to talk about here is VOLCANION. We don't really see this Pokemon too frequently, but the idea of VOLCANION here is that you just have, two really strong typings with fire and water. Steam Eruption, Heat Wave deal large amounts of damage, and you can synergize it well with Groudon. That sets up the Sun, so Heat Wave does even more damage, and then it also allows you to get, Solar Beam off successfully. So you're not really going to Dynamax the VOLCANION very much here, but you just get so much value out of Choice Specs. You have enough speed investment where under Tailwind you outspeed everything in the format other than Regieleki and, Choice Scarf Pokemon, which is very common benchmark to hit. And so, yeah, neither MEWTWO nor VOLCANION are very common in Series 13 in this format, but they both, I think, can be have a lot of potential, and I think these sets really maximize how good they can be. To round out the team, you've got a Assault Vest Groudon here. This is pretty classic. It's honestly just max HP, max attack. Nothing too crazy here. Zacian, also max HP, max attack. The one thing to note here is you have Quick Attack over Play Rough, so this gives you some priority, which can be valuable in finishing off Pokemon with Focus Sash, for example. You've got a Life Orb Dialga here. This is just meant to be one of the primary Dynamax options with this team. I'd say with this team, you're almost always maxing Groudon or Dialga, but of course you can flex opportunities to max MEWTWO and Yveltal or VOLCANION, depending on the situation. But Dialga and Groudon are just both such strong max options with this team that you generally have to have a good reason to not max one of these two. And finally, you've got a Yveltal here with Roselli Berry. I think this is really cool, actually, because it allows you to basically set up Tailwind in front of Zacian, and Zacian generally doesn't expect that. This team has a lot of good, ways to deal with Zacian, but Zacian is going to outspeed everything, right? And so the idea is with Tailwind, then you can pressure with Will-O-Wisp, or a Max Quake, or a Max Flare from Groudon, Behemoth Blade from Zacian, a Heat Wave from Choice Specs VOLCANION, or just a Life Orb Max Quake. And so Roselli Berry is an item I feel like very few players expect on Yveltal, but it covers for a weakness that, people generally expect, oh, I'm just going to play Rough Your Yveltal for a one-hit knockout. Even just surviving with a sliver of HP and getting Tailwind up can drastically turn the tides into your favor. So a lot of different ways you can lead with this team. I think I generally like, MEWTWO plus something, right? So like MEWTWO plus Dialga I think is really strong. MEWTWO plus Zacian can also be strong. I think Yveltal to set up Tailwind early is strong. So like Yveltal plus Groudon, Yveltal Zacian, Yveltal Dialga. You could go with Groudon and VOLCANION, but keep in mind that both of these are relatively slow, and you also don't have Protect on either Pokemon. So if you fall into a bad lead matchup with this, you can be in a lot of trouble immediately. Also, while I was talking about Volcanion, I didn't really hit on the fact that it does have Water Absorb, which makes it very, very nice to switch into Kyogre. I think that's actually one of the main reasons you want to use Volcanion in this format, because Kyogre, of course, is everywhere. Having something that can freely switch into a Water Spout or a Max Geyser is super valuable. It also means your opponents have to be a little bit more hesitant when Dynamaxing Kyogre. And this team has two things that really, Kyogre doesn't love going up against, between Volcanion and Dialga. And so for, other lead combinations, like I think, for example, Groudon Volcanion, like I mentioned, but generally, I think like trying to get speed control early is important, so that's why I prioritize often either leading Mewtwo or the Yveltal. Try to either get Icy Winds off early or get the Tailwind off with Yveltal. So yeah, Mewtwo Volcanion, not very common in this format. Let's see what we can do with them. Okay, first team here, we've got Yveltal, Calyrex, Zacian, Incineroar, Palkia, and Genesect. So, Volcanion with Choice Specs is decently powerful here. I have to worry about Trick Room slightly, which could be a concern. Like, I think Mewtwo and Dialga is really strong here. And in the back, I mean, Zacian's so good into my opponent's team, I feel like I gotta bring it. And then probably Specs Volcanion as the fourth. Like, I'm using this team because I want to use Mewtwo and Volcanion. It just feels like better if I have Groudon to enable Volcanion to set up the Sun. But I don't think we absolutely need it. I think Mewtwo and Dialga is a really effective lead here, though Life Orb Dialga is really, really good into my opponent's entire team. I actually don't see too many reliable answers. I think their best bet would be Palkia, Dynamax, Max Quake, get a special defense boost before I manage to get a Max Worm win against you. They could lead something like Zacian Palkia, but if they actually lead Zacian Palkia, I can just Icy Win, Max Worm win, which would be really, really good for me. So, yeah, I think Mewtwo plus Dialga here is really strong because of the Icy Win support. I think Volcanion can be intriguing as a late game Pokemon, especially into things like Calyrex, Zacian, and Genesect, right? They have 3 Fire Weeks, and then they have Incineroar as well, so I can go for Steam Eruption onto that. And my Zacian overall also just has a fairly positive matchup into their whole team, so I feel decent about this, but we'll see. They're going to go with Yveltal Zacian. Okay. So the speed order is going to be Zacian, Mewtwo, Yveltal, and then Dialga, unless they're Choice Scarf on Yveltal, but we can see that based off the abilities. Okay, Intrepid Sword goes out first, no surprise there. Yep, there's pressure. Okay. I guess it's interesting because like Yveltal could Dynamax here, could go for Airstream. I do have Will-O-Wisp. I definitely don't want to run. That is not what I'm trying to do. No, we do have Max Lightning here. I also have Zacian in the back. Icy Wind. I think here I'm fairly contented to click Icy Wind into Max Quake on Zacian, like get a KO onto that. Yveltal could be Weakness Policy, so I guess my main concern is Weakness Policy Yveltal, and then they like Sacred Sword / Close Combat Dialga plus Max Darkness it. I think that could be a concern. I think best case here is... Oh, Yveltal's not maxing. Okay, that could be Snarl coming out then, which I guess is okay for now. I guess it's not okay if -1 Life Orb Max Quick doesn't KO Zacian, which I think might be the case. Could also be Tailwind from Yveltal. I don't know. The other play I thought about was Icy Wind Max Lightning Yveltal, but I feel like that doesn't work if you are Assault Vest, and then you Dynamax on turn 1. Okay, they do just go for Sacred Sword. Honestly, that's okay. But yeah, if I had clicked Max Lightning onto Yveltal there, we probably would have just dunked on that. That doesn't look like Assault Vest to me. Yeah, but okay. Now, yeah, importantly, actually, I still get the Max Quick before you get me down to -1. So I don't have to worry about that. This should be a one-hit KO. Okay, not bad. Maybe Snarl comes out from Yveltal, which is kind of annoying, but that's okay in the grand scheme of things, given that we've started the game with the KO. But if I had just Max Lightning Yveltal there, that most likely would have just been a KO, and then Zacian would have been at -1 speed going into this next turn. Let's see what they opt for. It is Snarl. They're actually unfortunately going to miss the Dialga, which is pretty huge for us, I would say. Because it means now Dialga is just so much stronger. Like, one of the ways you beat Dialga is just make sure that it doesn't pick up 3 KOs in 3 turns of Dynamax, and Light Screen and Snarl are really helpful for that, as well as Special Defense Boost via Max Quake. So, really lucky to dodge it there. Like, I think we still could have been in an okay shape without it, but, like, that dodge dramatically increases our chances of winning, in my opinion. They actually bring out Incineroar. That's interesting. Okay. I mean, with Incineroar, you do have Fake Out pressure here. I'm just curious if you actually want to Dynamax Yveltal at this point, right? Yeah. Mist is actually pretty interesting here. I think I'm down to go for Mist and Max Wormwind. Basically, the logic is Incineroar probably clicks Fake Out here. That's okay if it does. Yveltal might be tempted to Dynamax, but I actually think that would work against my opponent right now, because Zacian just cleans up pretty easily against that. And I want to get rid of Incineroar, because my Zacian struggles a lot more against that than anything else on my opponent's team. They're going to Dynamax. Okay, that works for me. Yeah, the other fear was me activating a potential weakness. No, sorry, they can't be weakness policy. We already Icy Winded. Is it a Salt Vest? Like, does Icy Wind really do that much with the Salt Vest? Maybe. I feel like I'm just not used to Icy Wind ever really doing damage, but Mewtwo here is obviously decently strong. Okay, so they just click Fake Out onto the Mewtwo slot. That's okay. And I went for Whirlwind over Quake to cover for Shuka Berry. Let's see if this gets a one-hit KO. Oh, that was so close. That's okay, though. See if they went for Airstream or Darkness here. Airstream is better because you get a speed boost and then outspeed me next turn, but they do actually go for Darkness. I'll take that. Oh, onto Dialga as well. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, you can see they essentially do no damage thanks to that special defense boost from earlier. Nice. Okay, I'm very content with that because now I can actually Icy Wind, which should finish off the Incineroar slot, and then I'm willing to just max Lightning into the Yveltal slot. Zacian's going to take care of that. Volcanion should have a fairly favorable matchup into the remaining Pokemon on my opponent's team. Okay, Icy Wind doesn't miss. Beautiful. KOs the Incineroar. Mewtwo's putting in so much work for us in this game just with speed control. And that's where having the Focus Sash is really nice because I think it solves one of the Mewtwo's fundamental problems, which is that it's just super frail and gets KO'd by so many Pokemon in the format. Good damage from Max Lightning there. And I think with my opponent not clicking Max Airstream last turn, they're definitely in a trickier spot at the moment. Because, like, even if you Airstream now, you're still going to be slower. And they actually just continue to go for Darkness. That's fine with me. They target Dialga again. I don't even know if you KO me there, but it actually does. Okay. Is that a crit? No, not even. I guess with the special defense drop from earlier, it was enough. I was thinking we would still survive that, but I am more than okay with this outcome. I think now... Yeah, I'm honestly fairly okay bringing Volcanion out immediately here. Maybe Zacian was better just to stall at Yveltal's Dynamax and then use Volcanion in the late game, but I just really want to use Volcanion. Okay, it's Palkia coming in. I don't have Play Rough on Zacian, so that's one thing to keep in mind. Neutral, -2, neutral. Yeah, I mean, honestly, here I think I'm down to just Icy Wind and Steam Eruption into the Yveltal slot. Try to KO that. Cool, they don't go for a Protect on either Pokemon. And if Steam Eruption KOs Yveltal, Palkia's facing a 3v1, and I don't think it ever wins that, especially with me having Zacian in the back. Nice, we got speed, there's Steam Eruption. It hangs on with 1 HP, or maybe like 5 HP. Okay. Volcanion survives that, though, which is great. But now, actually, if Trick Room comes up here, things get pretty interesting, because I can't protect either Pokemon. Aw, man. Missing the KO on Yveltal by just a sliver there really hurts. Wow, I really thought we would have KO'd. Okay. Well, I've got Quick Attack on the Zacian, so I can use Quick Attack to finish off Yveltal. That is disappointing, though. I should have brought Zacian out first, because it would have been better into Yveltal. Like, Zacian covered for most of my opponent's remaining Pokemon, right? It's super good into, yeah, both. -2 special defense. You can Dark-type attack. I don't want to lose both Pokemon here, ideally. Okay, I'm going to switch Mewtwo out into Zacian here. Steam Eruption, Yveltal. That looks like a Solve S Yveltal to me. If it's taking a Life Orb Max Lightning, spec Steam Eruption like that. Zacian comes in. Oh, with Oblivion Wing, I don't even know if I KO you with Quick Attack now. Oh, okay, it targets the Zacian slot, so I'd actually still expect a KO, but let's see. Yeah, okay, we should KO. Earth Power, yeah, into Volcanion. Okay, that's fine. Basically, now I bring in Mewtwo, and I can Quick Attack to KO Yveltal. I am worried about Sucker Punch from it, though. If I wanted to play around Sucker Punch, what would I do? Click Will-O-Wisp here. Like, I do think the odds of them having Sucker Punch are decently high here, truthfully. So, I'm actually going to click Quick Attack and then Will-O-Wisp here. Because I expect to survive Life Orb Earth Power with Zacian, given that it's max HP Zacian. And then basically the idea is if Zacian survives, then it's a 2v1. Palkia is taking Life Orb and burn damage, and then I have Psy Strike plus Quick Attack. But yeah, I should have contemplated the option of Trick Room going up in this endgame, and I was like, oh, Volcanion is going to hard beat Calyrex plus the Genesect, but I didn't cover for the Palkia option super well. Okay, we get Quick Attack. That KOs Yveltal. They did not go for Sucker Punch. It's fine. They're going to Earth Power. Yep. If we survive this, we should win. Nice. Okay. Well, we still have to hit Will-O-Wisp, I guess. Okay. I hate saying that sentence. Okay, I said we should win now, but I guess it's not guaranteed yet. But they have what? How many turns of Trick Room? 2? Or is it 3? Yeah, it's 2. Perfect. So basically, I think here I can get away with Quick Attack plus Psy Strike. If you KO the Mewtwo slot, then Zacian just protects on the last turn of Trick Room, and then we just Sacred Sword. And then if you KO Zacian here, I get a Quick Attack off, I get a Psy Strike off, you take Life Orb damage, and you take burn damage. So all of that adds up in my favor. But yeah, if they had Sucker Punch and just KO'd Mewtwo last turn, like, I would just lose the game from this position, right? I would likely need to double protect, and even then, I'm not sure the +1 Sacred Sword KOs the Palkia without the burn chip damage. So, okay, we're going to get Quick Attack off there. Excellent damage. They're just going to Earth Power here. Beautiful. Into Zacian. Excellent. So yeah, the idea here is, like, by going for Quick Attack there, like, I get guaranteed damage off, and, like, Life Orb and Burn is just adding up so much right now as well, right? But it makes sense, because from my opponent's perspective, I had not revealed an offensive attack for Mewtwo quite yet, right? You've only seen Icy Wind so far, so you're probably thinking, okay, maybe you just don't have any offense, you're a support-oriented Mewtwo with Icy Wind and Will-O-Wisp, so I think it makes total sense to target Zacian there, because you gotta be worried about Zacian just KOing you with, like, a Play Rough or a Sacred Sword, for example. So that was a really, really fun first game. A lot of surprises. And yeah, the Yveltal just hung on for so long, but in the end, we were still able to come out with the win. Ooh, nice! We've got Mew, Zeraora, Solgaleo, Calyrex, Yveltal, and Zacian. So Mew. I mean, the thing about Mew is I just really don't know, like, what it's really gonna want to do. Could have Fake Out. Calyrex is concerning here. Okay, I almost want to set up Tailwind. Volcanion is super good here, right? So is Groudon. I don't think I want Dialga because of Solgaleo on their end. Like, I'm honestly down for Yveltal, Mewtwo, Groudon, Volcanion. I think you can easily make an argument for Zacian here, but yeah. What I'm trying to do is basically spread Icy Wind across the board, or Will-O-Wisp, and then Tailwind with Yveltal. And then get Volcanion under Tailwind. Because, like, we have, I'd say, better speed control relative to our opponent. So we can leverage that to our advantage. Zeraora, Yveltal. Okay. I mean, the scary thing here is Zeraora potentially outspeeding, KOing Yveltal. Our Dark Aura goes off first. Then theirs. Like, I'm down to Tailwind here, honestly, and then just Icy Wind on turn 1, I think. Because, like, we're trying to gain a speed advantage in this matchup. They're going to Dynamax, that's fine. Max Zeraora would be kind of hype. How bad would it be if they Max Zeraora? Not too bad, because then I get Volcanion in. And it is Max Yveltal, though. Okay, works for me. I guess the problem is if they were to Fake Out Yveltal here, or one-shot Yveltal. We'll see. That's not ideal either. I should have thought about Electro Web. Electro Web plus Darkness onto the Mewtwo slot makes sense. Yep. I mean, it's not really the end of the world because I at least get Tailwind up, right? I'm just afraid that now the game snowballs too heavily. But I think I can just bring out Groudon, obviously, to deal with this at the moment. The interesting debate is, like, maybe we actually Dynamax Yveltal. I'm just worried about Sash Zeraora, but I guess I could Sucker Punch it, no? Basically, my problem is I don't want this... If you Airstream here, like, that just KOs me, and that's really bad. So I'd rather Protect here this turn. Max. Yeah, Quake is really good here. Yveltal's really their only switch in. And then Quake Zeraora. Then the subsequent turn, I can Sucker Punch Zeraora, Max Rockfall Yveltal. Then their Dynamax ends. Well, maybe I wouldn't want to Rockfall because I'd want Sun Up. No, but then I could just Max Flare with Groudon at the third turn to set up the Sun again for Volcanion, right? I don't know. Is Zeraora really going to be sashed here? They have Mew and Calyrex on their team. Both of those seem like decently solid max candidates. Or sorry, Sash candidates. I also thought about just nuking Zeraora here, but I think that doesn't work for me because then I just get forced in... Oh, it's actually Shuka Berry. Wow. Oh, I wonder if Flare would have just KO'd them, because if so, I should have just gone for Flare. I didn't really even consider the possibility of Shuka Berry. That still KOs? Is that a crit? No. We'll take it. We'll definitely take it. Okay. So Zeraora feints. Airstream presumably into my Yveltal slot. Yep. Okay, cool. That works. That worked out very, very nicely. I got a free knockout, essentially. They didn't do that much damage to me. They did get a speed boost, which is a little bit scary, but it's fine for now. Probably want to hyper-focus whatever's coming in. And, like, the rest of their team is really Groudon weak, in my opinion. Like, Groudon's just so good here as a Dynamax option. They just brought Zacian. Okay, that works for me. I think here the obvious move is for Zacian to Protect. But I still have 2 turns of Tailwind relative to my opponent. Oh, but the problem is if they just Protect, they get a free speed boost. And then they can just maybe outpace both of my Pokemon. Ah, that's a pretty big problem, actually. I did get a special defense boost here, though. The question is how fast their Yveltal is. Like, Foul Play Rockfall doesn't KO Yveltal here anyway, so I don't think it's worth going for. I guess I'm down to Foul Play Yveltal here and just Quake into Zacian. I think Zacian always protects here. Yep. But if Groudon's faster and I get another special defense boost and I survive Max Airstream, that would be huge. But yeah, that was my fear. They are just faster now. What else can I really do in that position, though? This will be interesting, because I know I'm Choice Specs Volcanion, but does my opponent know that right now? I could have switched Yveltal out there. I don't think that's worth it. Specs Heat Wave should just pick up a double KO here, so the question is whether or not my opponent doubles up onto the Volcanion slot. And like whether or not you have Wild Charge, for example. Yeah, I think mainly like Electro Web on turn 1 meant that my Mewtwo was completely useless, sadly, and then the speed didn't work out super well because yeah, their Yveltal appears to just be max speed. So like I have Tailwind up, but they probably just outpace me with both Pokemon now, which is a problem. I'm just gonna Rockfall into Yveltal here. And then Heat Wave. Ooh, but they Oblivion Wing. Okay, if you don't have Wild Charge here, this should be a double KO. Let's see, do you have Wild Charge? Aww. No, Volcanion. You tried so hard and got so far. But in the end, it didn't even matter. Groudon could still win this endgame, though, given that we're at +3 special defense, or +2 special defense, but that's disappointing. Yeah, especially because, like, I didn't have Protect on Volcanion there. If I just Protect and Quake Zacian, that would be huge. I mean, Wild Charge isn't that crazy to see on Zacian either, given how prevalent Kyogre is. Tailwind Peter's out, Dynamax ends, I'm at +2 special defense. If their last one is Calyrex, maybe there's still a chance. No, it is Calyrex. Man, if I actually knocked out Zacian then last turn, I also may have been able to win instead. Sand is also up, so a Shadow Claw will just one-shot Calyrex. I have to KO Zacian here, though, no? I don't think it's even worth risk missing. I don't know. Like, I don't think I'm surviving 2 Astral Barrages single target plus a Blade, but we'll see. Zacian's faster than their... Oh, no, they had the speed boost on it. That makes sense. Yeah, there's no way I'm surviving 2. +2 special defense, Assault Vest, but it is single target. That actually just KO'd? Oh, that was a crit. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I mean, it was a very well-played Zeraora. Like, the Electro Web just really made it so that Mewtwo couldn't do very much, unfortunately. Dialga may have been more effective into my opponent's lead. The Yveltal being max speed meant, like, even with Tailwind up, like, they just outsped me with the Yveltal and Zacian thanks to them getting a speed boost, right? Which was really well managed on their end, so, yeah, props. Okay, we've got Kyogre, Groudon, Regieleki, Whimsicott, Dialga, Zacian here. So I think Dialga on our end is really strong, but like they have their own Tailwind from Whimsicott. I'm also worried about Fake Tears from that. Like Yveltal can retaliate back with its own Tailwind, so I'm tempted to go for that. And then in the back, Groudon plus Volcanion. Alright, let's give that a shot. So what are we trying to do here? Tailwind with Yveltal ideally, Dynamax Dialga. The thing is, like, because they have their own Tailwind with Whimsicott, I'm not sure how effective Yveltal really is here, but we don't really have any better means of speed control. I think if, like, Mewtwo had Trick Room would be interesting as a lead option, because then you could go, like, Mewtwo Dialga. But also, if I'm leading Yveltal Dialga, maybe my opponent's worried about Dialga having Trick Room, so that's one other thing to consider. But, yeah, I think if Whimsicott weren't on my opponent's team... No, actually, no, they have Regieleki as well. Like, the problem with Mewtwo is exactly what happened in the previous game, where it's like, oh, if you have a faster Pokemon that has better speed control, I can just drop Mewtwo speed, then I'm really screwed. And, like, Regieleki Kyogre, Regieleki Zacian, Regieleki Dialga. Those are all problems for Mewtwo. So we'll see. I'm curious if they end up leading Whimsicott, because I can at least match their Tailwind. The thing is, matching their Tailwind doesn't really do anything for me, because I'm using slower Pokemon in general. So it would work if I, like, staggered it by a turn, for example, to have an extra turn of Tailwind in the end, or even staggered it by, like, 2 turns, for example. Let's see. Kyogre and Regieleki. Great for Dialga here, I would argue. I think, like, turn 1, it's fairly easy to protect the... Oh, it's Choice Scarf Kyogre as well. Okay. Actually, is it Scarf Kyogre? I thought the Yveltal on this team was max speed, but I have to double check. Because if we know it's Scarf, that's actually really... Yeah, it is. Okay, that's huge. What I can do here, turn 1 is Dynamax, Max Quake into Regieleki, and then Protect. I guess the problem is, like, it could be Focus Sash Aleki, no? Yeah, but they have Whimsicott on their team. I don't know how likely that is. Yeah, I'm gonna Max Quake Aleki and Protect turn 1. If we just one-shot Aleki here, and I get a special defense boost along the way, it means I can Tailwind turn 2, and then, like, Max Lightning Kyogre. I was tempted to just click Max Lightning onto Kyogre here on turn 1, or maybe even Max Wormwind. I don't want a Lightning, though, because I don't want to set up Electric Terrain for Regieleki. I also have, like, Groudon Volcanion in the back. Maybe it was worth considering switching out. Like, well, I don't know, because the problem is, like, Water plus Electric covers for Volcanion or Groudon switching in. So I don't mind protecting turn 1. I think that's fine. And if Aleki doesn't have Sash here, that'd be amazing. Even if they have Sash, I suppose I could Sucker Punch, Max Lightning, double KO next turn. And they just Thunderbolt. Cool. Excellent. Excellent. And just Water Spout, yes. Okay, and that play from their end makes sense, because I think so often Yveltal is Assault Vest, so from my opponent's end, you're like, okay, if you're Assault Vest Yveltal, I can just pressure that slot immensely right now. No Focus Sash on Regieleki. Beautiful. And I get a special defense boost to boot. So now I can actually pressure my own Tailwind with Yveltal, right? The idea behind this lead is that if they lead Whimsicott, both Pokemon are pretty good into Whimsicott and then can put on a lot of pressure against Whimsicott's partner, and I can stagger my Tailwind, and it actually worked out even better than I expected given my opponent's lead here. So let's see what they bring out now. Groudon. Okay. That is really interesting because you're changing your own weather in doing this, which I think puts them in a really bad spot. So I think now it makes sense for maybe Kyogre to switch out into, say, the Zacian. Kyogre doesn't really concern me that much from this position. Like, I'm pretty down to Wormwind into the Groudon slot right now, and then Tailwind as well. I also thought about the idea of max quaking Kyogre, because if Kyogre switches in a Zacian and I read that correctly, I probably just win the game immediately, right? But to me, it's like Groudon has to be their Dynamax option right now, so why don't we just get a lot of free damage onto it and get a free Tailwind up along the way? That seems fairly good for me. And then, like, I've got my own Groudon and Volcanion, and I think Spread, Precipice Blades, and Heat Wave is looking really strong in this end game. Oh, interesting, though. They're going to stay in. Okay. What's maxing? Oh, they're actually going to max the Kyogre. I definitely respect that. I think it's basically my opponent being like, okay, I'm in such a bad spot right now, but by maxing Kyogre, I can at least maybe like catch my opponent off guard. But the thing is, Dynamax Kyogre is really weak into Dialga, plus my Yveltal actually accomplishes setting up Tailwind here, so I think this is super ideal for me. We almost one-shot Groudon, but that looks like Assault Vest. Can Groudon survive without Assault Vest? Probably, actually. If you're like super defensive. Hey, they just press the blades, that's fine. The other cool thing is we should know Kyogre is most likely not going to have Max Guard. Also, one really interesting piece of information is like because Kyogre committed to Water Spout earlier, given that his Choice Scarf, if anything faints and then Dynamax ends, Kyogre is stuck clicking Water Spout in the end game. So I can use that to my advantage. So they end up Hailstorming, that's fine. I'm not going to faint from that. Everyone takes a little bit of Hail. Does Groudon faint from Hail here? That'd be awesome. It does. Very cool. Okay, so we get another turn of Dynamax left, and I have Speed Control. We're up 4-2. I think this should be a wrap. Dialga's our last one. Okay, that works for me. I think I only lose this game if like Trick Room goes up, so I'm just gonna Max Quake and Foul Play here. Even if Dialga protects, then I get a free switch into Groudon or Volcanion, and both are really good here. And actually, like, we essentially have a guaranteed win against Kyogre if I conserve Volcanion for this endgame. That's one of the reasons why Volcanion's a really good Pokemon in the format. Or sorry, Volcanion is not a really good Pokemon in the format. Why it can be good in the format is because it can match up well into Kyogre. But Thunder is fairly common on Kyogre, so it's not even like it can be that good. But in this position, like, Volcanion actually guarantees us the win against Choice Scarf Kyogre if we knock out Dialga here. And they're not going to protect Dialga. Cool. Okay, with that then, Volcanion actually just ensures us the victory, although I imagine this game is just going to be over after this turn. And I think this was them not bringing Whimsicott, which gave me a huge advantage, and then me just getting a free knockout onto their Regieleki as well. Ultimately, they didn't have too much to actually beat Dialga. Like, if you look at my opponent's Pokemon, Kyogre, Regieleki, you know, their own Dialga, like, none of those really match up super well into us. Yeah, so they're going to Max Lightning here. Okay, that's fine. Like I said, Volcanion guarantees us the victory, so I'm just going to bring in Volcanion, and I'm just going to switch it out into Groudon. With that, like, there's no way for them to win. Because it's the last turn of Dynamax on my opponent's end. I guess I could also just bring in Groudon immediately, but I want to let Volcanion at least have a chance to hit the field. And yeah, Kyogre can never really win 1v3 here. I think ultimately my opponent's lead was really offensive, but we had so many resistances and immunities to it that it was hard for my opponent to really leverage it too much, which was good for us. So I'll just go for Earth Power here. Don't risk missing. Switch out into Groudon. Yeah. The one way we could have thrown this game, like, because we know it's Choice Scarf Kyogre, the one way we could have thrown is by, like, sacrificing Volcanion. Even then, though, I think with Groudon Dialga endgame, there's really no shot for them to win. Yep, so we get Earth Power for a little bit of damage. And they Lightning into Volcanion. Yep, cool. Dynamax ends now. You're stuck using Water Spell. Volcanion just infinitely wins here. So even though Volcanion itself like didn't come out and like do a lot of damage, it essentially guaranteed us the victory in this endgame, which was awesome. Just click Precipice Blades here. Yeah, they end up forfeiting. Cool. That was a really fun set of games. I mean, Mewtwo and Volcanion, both Pokemon that you don't get to use very often in this format. They're not exactly like superstars, but I think that we were able to showcase how both can potentially be viable. And we can check our opponent's team here. So, Classic Zacian, it was just actually max speed. Weakness Policy Dialga. This probably would have been their best bet into my Dialga, to be honest. Or Groudon. Solvest Groudon. Like, I think their decision to max Groudon over Kyogre was what really punished them in the end. Because, like, max Kyogre was never really going to do anything into us. But I think in retrospect, it made sense. I was also surprised my opponent didn't bring in Zacian. Like, I didn't expect to see Dialga as their 4th over Zacian. I don't think it would have really made much of a difference because Volcanion would have been designed to really beat this. Although I guess I would have to be worried about Wild Charge, and I wouldn't be able to confirm that during the game until I see whether or not they use it. But basically, yeah, I think my opponent, like, by leading Scarf Kyogre and me knowing it was Choice Scarf, I was able to, like, leverage that information and just basically, like, you really use it to my advantage, right? And I think what also really helped me is they didn't bring Whimsicott, because my fear was, hey, they just have Whimsicott, they have a faster Tailwind, you could go, like, Whimsicott Dialga and overwhelm me fairly easily. So I think even though we won this one, if my opponent found maybe a different line of Pokemon to take, it could have been a lot worse for me. Like, Whimsicott Dialga lead, maybe Zacian, and then Scarf Kyogre to end the game. So we were lucky that that did not come out. But yeah, that's going to wrap our time with this episode. So thank you so much as always for watching. Leave a like if you enjoy. Don't forget to answer the question of the day, and I'll see you all next time. All right, peace.